The Miss
Thank
Diva.
you.
You look
Thank
so
you.
pretty. Look at you, gorgeous.
Thank you. So how are you doing today?
I'm hanging in there, baby. Doing Miss Diva. You know me.
Right. So, okay. So in part one, because we just gonna get right into it. In part one, we
Okay.
talked about a lot of stuff, and covered a lot of ground. But this one is gonna be a lot different.
Okay.
Only because we are going to be discussing a bunch of stuff, right? That needs to be addressed, and then we'll have the conclusion in the next part or whatever. But I wanted to just
Okay.
give you a chance to kind of recap of what we talked about in part one.
Okay. So where you want to start? I'll let you start it.
Okay, so basically, just why you decided to come forth with this information or this your story. And just about, how you really feel about, all of the things that's going on with the biopic because BMF Stars is coming back out this Friday.
Right.
So just like your just kind of talk about some of the stuff that in relation to the film coming out in the biopic
Right.
with Tonisa. And just kind of sum up because we talked about so much stuff.
Right.
But, some people might see part one and
Right.
not see part two, and some people might see this one and didn't see part one.
Right.
So they'll be kind of lost if we talk about some stuff. So is
Right.
there anything you want to recap from the previous part one?
Just people to know that you know that she wasn't there for her family, and a lot of things she did on her own, and as far as making her husband look bad in her bio, that's not all true. It's two sides to a story, and I hope that we can show that. I hope that with me being her sister over 50 years can tell the world that how things really went. So yeah, we do want to, like you said, just touch on a lot of things that happened. That's going on with her, and why it's going on, like you said, with her sons and stuff like that. A lot of things she needs to take accountability of and focus on, and just like you said, moving forward
Right.
you
Right.
know yeah.
Okay, so personally, we talked about this last time, but this goes going forward. I haven't watched any of the BMF series on Stars. Now I do watch Power, but I only watch two television shows. I watch Power, and I watch the Tariq chapter of Power, and then I
Okay.
watch Game of Thrones. That's it. I
Okay.
don't watch any television shows, not a
Right.
Love and Hip Hop, not a nothing. Right.
Okay.
So for me to even watch that would be out of my normal consumption of entertainment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there has been a lot of like we're in the third season of BMF.
Right.
Lisa did a biopic, she did Trap Queens with BT.
Right.
She did another reality show, and there's a plethora of content on YouTube that
Hmm.
kind of breaks this down, interviews and stuff that she's done. And so
Yes.
with that being said, you know, we're in a time where this lifestyle and pertains to our personal life is being glamified, right?
That's
And
right.
so, there's a lot of avenues and there's a lot of ways for people to tell their story. But in the same token, I feel like, not everyone's story. Like I watched your Griselda Blanco's Netflix. There's a lot of stuff that was left out that was real life.
Right.
Um, and the same goes for the stuff with BMF on Stars and
Right.
with the pick, right? With BMF Stars, I think because it's television, it's more glamorized and it's not going to
Yeah.
be exact accounts because of lawsuits and things of that nature.
Right.
Um, but let's talk about the biopic. I didn't watch it. I don't know anybody that watched it personally. Maybe
Mhm.
someone that watches me watches it or someone in my family. So, but I didn't watch it. Right.
Right.
But and I know you didn't watch it either. But what are your thoughts as far as like from what you know about the television show or from what you know about the biopic? in relations to the reality that you have.
My son actually watched it, and he told me, he said, um, the actors that she used, she could have used better actors. You notice when they did the BMF story, they had people that looking almost like them, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he said he didn't like the way she portrayed it. My dad. My dad was a comedian. Like I told y'all before, this is where I got it from. So she had all these different people playing. And then again, I got several reviews, and I'm told that it was very low budget. I'm not talking about it. I'm just telling you what they said. Now,
Okay.
they said it was okay. It was a little low budget, but it was okay. And she didn't portray the characters like they thought she would. Okay.
Okay.
Because the BMF personally knew my father. Okay.
Oh,
And anybody that know my father, they'll say, "Oh, Catrice's comedy come from her dad." So
mm-hmm.
that serious man that they used in there, what's his name, Leon or whatever. I love him. I love him. Like I said again, but he portrayed my dad as more of a serious person, and that's not what my dad is known of. So I will tell you that much.
Oh,
As far as the series go, I haven't watched it either. I only watched the one episode with Lala in it because I wanted to see how she was portraying, you know, her. So I did watch the one episode, but that was it. Only because I lived the real life. Had I not been in it, then I probably would have been excited to see it. But me living the life and being in that life and being around them like I have, um, it's pretty hard for me to watch the series because I know that's television. That makes sense.
right. Yeah.
And
Yeah. And ironically, all of the people in my family outside of the, immediate family or whatever,
uh-huh.
but we haven't watched it either, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
And only because, it's I feel it's useless to watch it.
Yeah. Not,
And,
and
and
nothing personal. It's just
yeah,
that me and you, we live that life. We've been around them. We know the real deal. We know
yeah,
how television can edit it and do
mm,
this and do that. I know what I know. And again, I don't watch it, I'm not,
right.
yeah.
I mean, not knocking anybody that does, because
Right, right,
many people that do watch it, but I
right.
just think that, for me, that's not entertainment that I would watch. Right
There you
now,
go.
I do watch Power,
Yeah.
but to be honest, I only started watching Power because when my father went to prison the third time, he told me, he said, "I need you to watch Power and look at Ghost." That's who I was like. I was like Ghost. And if my father had not went to prison, and that was one of the last conversations we had before he was free, I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't watch Power. So it was my father that made me even watch Ghost. And I
Oh,
studied
okay.
Ghost because my father said watch Ghost, right?
Okay.
So that's how Power got into my life. I had no idea watching Power that eventually 50 would do a series and my father's character would be in it, which is so ironic to me or whatever.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, that's like a full circle moment. And that's why I started watching Power. But then I watched Tyree grow up, and I was okay, I'm gonna continue watching it now. The other stuff is just not my genre of
Yeah, me either, sweetie. And like you said, that's because we both was in the family. We're in the family. We lived it. We seen it. So, the TV stuff just don't click with us. And it
yeah.
is. No offense to them, Like I said, I love to be them. I'm always going to love them. Like I said, they were good to my kid. But again, I just never been into the series. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I can't tell you one episode. Only episode I can tell you, like I said, is with
With
Lala.
Lala, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's get right into it because I know that you and Tonisa, our sisters, and you grew up together. So what was it really like growing up before this whole BMF? What was it like growing up with her as a stepsister?
Oh, wow. I really looked up to Tony. I love Tony. I looked up to her, and it's like I wanted to be like her. Not in the sense of jealous of her or anything like that.
Mhm.
I just looked up to her. She was, we went to Cooley High. She went to Cooley High, and she's always been the best dressed. She's always been this person everybody wanted to look up to. She was very popular at the skating ring. She's the reason I know how to skate. Northland Skating Ring, if anybody know anything about that. She was very popular there. Tonisa was a person everybody looked up to. And when she graduated and she had her son, that's when everything turned. See, I didn't know that part. See, that's what people didn't know. I went another way, she went another way, and she was doing her own thing in the street. I didn't know that. When I came up, by the time I looked up, she had met your dad, and she was going through a drug issue. It really was. When your dad got with her, she was coming out of a drug issue. She was out there getting high, her and her brothers. It's always been a household thing with the Welches. All of them always been on drugs, even to this day her brother is still dealing with drugs. And drugs has always been a big thing with the Welches, even back then. You know, my brothers, my half brothers, which is her brothers, worked at Ford Motor Company, and this is what they did. They've been getting high from the age of 19 to now. Even one brother, he died. And I don't know if you knew about that. He died in '03, the same year my mom died. And there's always been an issue with drugs. So after she got past the drugs with your dad, I guess that's when she became this mom to be. You know, after she had the one boy, then she had the second one. And again, she was this mother. And she was with your dad by then. By that time, that's when she told the story about her doing the dope and selling the dope and the kilos and all that. See, I wasn't around then. I was working those two jobs, you see? And I didn't get to see none of that part. All I seen was later on I found out that your dad was jumping on her and stuff like that. I didn't know. I never knew the aspect of it because I worked. And because I worked those two jobs, I didn't have time to see what was really going on. So I was only told little things. So I'm this little girl looking up to her. And it really breaks my heart because what hurt me the most was I was so angry. Why did she, because it was other people saying to me, why your sister not helping you? Why your sister this? Why your sister that? She doesn't understand the depth that I went through and the pain that I went through her being my sister. Because they looking at me like, why are you working these two jobs? Why are you working so hard with a sister that got so much? So you understand what I had to go through? I didn't know that she didn't love me like that. I didn't know that she was selfish and she looked at me as I'm not doing for you. You stay up and you stay underneath me. See, I didn't know that. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that if your sister loved you, she would help you. I didn't know that if your sister truly loved you, she wouldn't watch you work two jobs. See, I didn't know that. She told me she was proud of me. I'm proud of you working two jobs. I'm proud of you getting your first fur coat. I'm proud of you getting all these new cars on your own. She was really proud of me. At least that's what I thought. Until my family started telling me, well, if your sister loved you so much, how come a sister that loves you won't see you struggle? A sister that loves you is not going to watch you work two jobs. A sister that loves you ain't going to have millions of dollars and brag about you working two jobs. That's not what a sister do. So what she didn't realize was my siblings from my mom is her age. Okay. I told you I got a sister the same age she is. And matter of fact, my sister be 63 March 6th. That's how close they is in age. She'll be 63 March 6th. Tony be 63 August 11th. And her and my brother always let me know that you got a sister with all that money and she don't do nothing for you. You got to work like a dog and you really looking up to her. So all this time I'm looking up to her, family members tearing me down. You look up to her like she this, you look up to her like she that, and she watching you work two jobs. How does she love you? How? So I had to endure this stuff, girl. And then I was angry because I'm saying, why she ain't do for me? Me and her ain't never fell out. Why she didn't do for me? This is a true story. Whatever she done for me, she done for the groupies. Everything she done for me, she done for the groupies. My brother Kevin got furniture delivered to his house. He got rims, he got a Rolex, and I give him that. He retired from the Air Force with a master's degree. He deserved that. Nobody never had furniture delivered to Catrice's house. Never had a Rolex, never had furniture, never had rims. I never got anything delivered to Catrice's house. So you see how that difference is? That's her brother on her mama's side, but he's my brother with the daddy. That's the only child my dad got by her mom. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And we only a year apart. Okay? So
Okay.
with me not falling out with her at all, I want you to figure that one out for me. We never fell out. So she just didn't do for me because I was not a follower. My daddy used to say, you know what, Catrice, you know, if she wants you to kiss her ass, but you know your last name ain't Welch. So you know ain't a lot gonna be done for you. You know you're a Thomas and you got to work for your shit. So don't be mad at her. Okay? He said, because you didn't have to do that goddamn time with her. Okay? And the feds didn't have to come take your shit from you. Okay? He said, we the only family the police never looked for. I had a sister that got caught up in the biggest drug bust in Michigan, $270 million drug bust. And my daddy said, you know what? The police never called us. You know why? I said, why, Daddy? Because you never done shit for us. They looked in our contract, they said, look at all these folks working. I worked at Ford, you worked 2 jobs, everybody, all the Thomases had jobs. So the police never called us not one time because we never got anything for them to confiscate. Did you catch that?
Mm-hmm.
And let me add this on. We never had a falling out. Never. Until this fallout we got going on these last 4 years. So again, I say to you, it was no reason that her not to help me. I was already working 2 jobs, beautiful. Why wouldn't my sister help me? We didn't fall out. I work 2 jobs and I'm your sister and you making millions. You got millions of dollars. You got me she bought me a purse for my 40th birthday, a Gucci purse. Me and her other sister from her dad's side. She got me a necklace that a guy had gave her, and she gave it to me. I can count on one hand what she done for me. And we never fell out. My dad said, if you don't kiss her ass, she's not gonna do. I say, well, I won't get done for. So, Queen, I continued to work the 2 jobs because I could not kiss her ass. And you know what she told me? She says, you didn't ask me for nothing. When she came to Vegas to the condo and had to come get the Focus,
Mm-hmm.
let me correct that. I told you they drove. Let me correct that. Her and your brother flew to Vegas and they drove the Focus back. Let me
Mm-hmm.
correct that, Queen. I got to correct that with you. And
Okay.
that's when me and her had the first serious talk 4 years ago in the condo. She said, you didn't ask me for nothing. I said, why should I? I got right in her ass. It's a true statement. I said, why should I have to ask you for any goddamn thing? And you watch me work 2 jobs. Why should I have to ask you? Didn't them 2 jobs tell her I needed Queen? She asked me, why didn't I ask her? Why do I have to ask my sister for anything? Why did my sister have to watch me work 2 jobs for over 20 something years when she had this money? And we had never fell out. We never fell out. Never. So it was no reason. So when I got over the anger, my dad helped me. He says, don't be mad. Don't be mad. Because your ass would have been behind them bars with her ass. You hear me? My daddy kept it 100. He said, Tony, the only one I know in the BMF family that didn't do shit for her family. That is a true statement, Queen. Nobody got no property, no nothing in Detroit, Michigan. Her brother's daughter, one niece, is still in that house we grew up in. I'm going to say that again in part 2. She's still in that house we grew up in, baby. To this day, she's still in that house. can't make this up. I can't.
So, so I want to ask you, as far as like, what was that moment to where, um, y'all relationship that was cordial became to this to where y'all have this feud?
I'm gonna say this again. She got into it with her mother. Not only she was calling her 15 B's, she was putting holes in the wall with a hammer, like a child having a tantrum. I was being nice. I didn't want to tell it all, but since you asked me, she not only was calling her mother a bunch of bitches, she took a hammer and put holes in the wall. And my mother had to get the wall patched up before
Mm.
she can sell the house in the short sale. Okay? She called me up and she told me, family members told me I shouldn't have got in it. Do you know I got a family member told me that I had nothing to do with it, I shouldn't have got in it? I said, wow. Forgive me for stepping in and watching my sister call her mama 15 bitches and I checked her. Forgive me. This is what the big fight is about. I checked Tonisa Lynette Welch for calling her mother 15 bitches and putting them holes in the wall. And I told her she ain't gonna be too many of them bitches. And that's the fallout. Ain't
Mm.
nothing else to put with it. I can't add nothing, take nothing away. We fell out because she called her mother all them bitches and put holes in my mother's wall. And that's when my mother had those locks changed on the condo. She said, because I don't know what she'll do. Now, this the mother that birthed her, that she claimed they was best friends and they so close to. This the mother.
So was your character portrayed in her biopic or on the BMF series?
No. Oh no. She says to me, I'm mad because I went in it. I'm not in it. I didn't sling no dope. I didn't do no kilos. I didn't transfer no drugs. You did that. All that drug stuff she was doing, I was working 2 jobs. So
Okay.
I couldn't be in it. See, the thing is, when we went at it, she can't, it wasn't too much she could say about me, but talk about my character. You know her normal, ugly, fat. You know how she do, try to
Mm.
tear you down. But it wasn't so much she can say about me because I worked 2 jobs, 20 some years. She even tried to tear that down. That's why you making what you making. Ain't no social security coming out of horn, baby. You can't get you can't get retirement off the streets, sweetie. I don't think BMF got no retirement plan for you, sweetie. So while you trying to tear down Miss Diva, talking about how she worked and got to work like a dog, even your brother said, they said, the joke was, we got to work. We got to have jobs. We can't travel the world like they do. Yeah. And we can't go to all the big parties like they do. Yeah, yeah. Your brother was part of that. He says we can't travel like they do. And it's not their fault they can be with stars and we can't. So, yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so I know that you said before that you had a good relationship with Meech and with Terry and actually Meech's mom as well. So let's talk about your relationship with them and in relations to things that you've witnessed and interactions with them.
Well, one thing I can tell you, like I told you before in part one, Meech never liked Tonisa, ever, ever. So that series that they're talking about, Meech and like that part is true. Meech have never ever liked Tonisa. And and one of the biggest reasons why they fell out is because of Tonisa. Um, I'm gonna go on record and say Terry turned on his mama for Tonisa. That's a true statement. That's not allegedly, it's a true statement. I stand on what I said. Terry turned on his own mama for Tonisa. Can you hear that
Mm,
noise? They outside.
yeah,
Is you hearing that? Are
yeah, I
you
hear
hearing
it.
that?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
fine though.
okay? Yeah. So yeah, um, Meech always respected me. He always gave me praises because my son was so respectful. And he always told me I raised a fine young man. Terry Same thing with Terry. He loves my son. Like I said, he made some mistakes. He turned on his mama for Tony. He did. He did. He did. And I witnessed it. It's not no allegedly. I witnessed it. And since then he changed man, you know. He made up with his mom, do whatever he needed to do. But yeah, it was pretty bad. And that's one of the biggest reasons why Meech does not deal with Tony, because of disrespect she done to his mom. Okay? Disrespected her to no return. It's not even no return. No, she would never ever have anything to do with Tony. Ever. Not in this life. Not in this life. You know.
So do you think that the Meech and his mom have this dislike to Tonisa because of the age difference? Because there is an age difference with Tonisa and Terry. So do
Well,
you
if
think it was age or how he actually got with her, being that she was the wife of my father?
it was the way it was, the age ain't really had nothing to do with it, sweetie. It was how she got with him. Okay? It's how. Your dad sat there personally and said, take care of my family and kids. Your dad said that. He
Mm-hmm.
told him to take care of his wife and family. I was there. He did that. And she started going with him.
So
So
were they going together prior to my father going to prison, or was this after he went away?
it was more or less after he went away, but it was like he was coming home kind of soon too. Because I remember when he was coming home, he had to come to the house she was at to be paroled at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I remember Terry having a fit about it. It was a thing because Terry spent a lot of time talking to me on the phone.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you this or not, but before Terry got released from prison, he was contacting me. Okay,
Okay.
I got receipts. Ain't no allegedly
Okay.
receipts.
Okay.
Terry was texting me to the day he got released from prison. He told me in those texts he was done with Tony. And I told him this. He gonna try to check me about me getting at Tony. I told him, you always taking up for that heifer. I said, but she tried to turn us against you. I said, and you for the life of me, you seem to always get weak when it come to Tony. All Tony have done to you, I don't play with Terry. I went ham on Terry. I can put that on the record. I can show you the Texas. I went ham on that ass. I didn't hold him up, baby. One thing about Terry Lee Flanoy, he know Catrice Thomas, baby. He know I don't play with him. The BMF never shied away from me getting in that ass. I don't know if they ever told you, I was in Dallas. Him and Tony got into a fight, one of their regular fights, and they tore up the house. It was 50 people in the house. I'm the one stood up and told him, when I leave this motherfucker and go back to Detroit, I got 2 jobs waiting on me. BMF don't take care of me. And from that point on, Terry respected me because I told this motherfucking ass that BMF don't ride with me, baby. When you work 2 jobs, it's hard to kiss ass, queen.
Right.
And that's why Miss Diva got the respect that she has. Because Lucille watched me work them 2 jobs. Lucille know that Tony didn't do for me. Terry know that Tony didn't do for me. Big Meech know Tony didn't do for me. They know it. They know it. And they all know the truth. She didn't. And with no reason. My daddy say, you can swallow that up. Because unless you gonna kiss her ass, she's not gonna do for you. And that's the real reason why Tony didn't do for me. Because I wasn't a flunky and I wasn't a follower. I was a born leader. I'm a Thomas / Myrie. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
So Judge Mathis married my daddy's first cousin. So Judge Mathis don't even know I'm the real Myrie. Not Tony. She's a Welch. That's my father. So while Judge Mathis putting shit together, I'm the one related to the brother, wife he married. You know, his brother married my dad's cousin. So again, I'm gonna say this on record. They just should have did a little more digging. Because again, it's too many loopholes in this story. It's just too much. and it ain't adding up. And if you notice, nobody from the BMF bagged up that Tony Welch story. Nobody.
Yeah. So I know that you said that Tonisa and Misha's mom have a strained relationship. So what was that happened, or what was that one thing, or what was the occurrences that kind of made them not have a close relationship as a woman is supposed to have with the man that she's in a relationship with?
Well, back then when they first got together, Terry, anybody will tell you, Terry was very just, I don't know what to call it, in love. I don't know what to say. But um, Tony got into it with his mother and he actually got at his mom. Yeah, he did. He actually
Mm.
got on his mom. He actually turned on his mom. He did. He did. And since then again, um, um, Tony would call his mom out her name, threaten what she gonna do to her and all the above. And I think at this point, Tony forgot that was Meech's mama too. See, I think she wasn't thinking. She thinking I'm arguing with Terry, and that's it. I cussed your mom out. Boom, boom, boom. And what she really didn't know the impact. The impact is that's Meech's mother too, baby. And I'm
Right.
gonna leave that right there because
Yeah.
you can do a lot of things, but you don't disrespect. You disrespected your own mama. She got a thing about people, mama, baby. She didn't respect her own mother.
No, I mean, I know that she didn't have respect for my grandmother as well.
Same thing. She had to be put in her place about your grandmother. Your grandmother, um, she also had a problem with her kids' baby mamas, with the oldest boy baby mama and the,
Hmm.
and the deceased one's wife. She's always had a problem because Tony want to come before her son's wives and girls. That ain't what you do. She has a problem with a lot of people, baby. So all these people in my family that call themselves turning on me or changing around thinking she gonna do all this for them, it's sad. It's sad. Because Tony ain't did nothing for nobody. That's why she's with nothing. I mean, think to yourself, your stepmom had all of this money. You give me another reason why she don't have anything.
Yeah.
No
I
property,
mean, when
no
I was
no
when
no
I
LLCs,
yeah.
no homes, no apartment buildings. Your daddy was smart enough to get an ice cream truck. Your daddy always finding some business to endure. Your father always found him a business to get into. Always. Always. But she never did. She never did. Never did. Never did. So that's why to this day your father had to pay phone bills. Because when you have that kind of money and you run through that money and you don't do nothing for your family, nothing, nothing. Your daddy know I ain't lying. Your daddy can vouch for everything I'm saying. Not a soul in the family got a piece of property or nothing that they own with all that money she blew through. Your dad can attest to that. And that's not no allegedly. I'm gonna stand tall on that one. Yeah, it's nothing.
So
Nothing.
what do you think about, like, because it goes a lot further than just family
Right,
with her and her children.
right.
Um how do you think, like, the dynamics have affected, her sons?
And that's the sad part. She would never admit this, but she's the reason. She's the reason. And I'm gonna say that. No allegedly, nothing. I'm gonna say that. When you raise your boys in that kind of life, you gotta take them back in and re-raise them. Them boys is used to the fast life, okay? And this is why it's the way it is. This is why your brother having so many problems. He ain't just started having them problems. It's been over 10 years. It's been over 10 years, baby. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna play with you with it. This has been going on a long time because those boys went through a tremendous background. Them boys had to endure a lot of stuff they not proud of. Okay? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That boys had to endure a lot of stuff. And that's why your brother is going through what he's going through, baby. Okay? Not gonna sugarcoat that. They can fix it. They can do whatever they want to do with it. All the way down to the name change. Okay? Okay? It's always been the Cookie Lions role. Y'all do what I say do. Well, I couldn't get with that. My dad couldn't either. She had a role so tough. She told my dad, if you want to stay in this family, you better straighten up. You know she couldn't tell me that, right? You know she couldn't tell me that, right?
Right.
Do you know whatever they said to my dad, they never said it in front of me? Do you know you cannot pay a Welsh to come for me right now? I'm being honest. You
Right.
can't pay them to come for me. See, one thing about me, I know too much. I know too much. And and that's where I'm at with that. My nephew Drew, he knows so much and put her behind bars. She raised him and then threw him to the wolves. See, once she used you, she let you go. She throw you away if she can use you. And I can't be used. And I just didn't kiss that butt, baby. And that's why I didn't get done for. And that's fine.
Right.
That's
Right.
fine. That's
Right.
fine.
I mean, I know she's utilized um my expertise as well when it came to interviews, and I had her doing Grammy events and hosting stuff like that. So I do understand that aspect of it, of the using part. Now I do think, when it comes to um just this whole persona, right? And we know a lot about the dynamics of her and T relationship, even the cheating scandals that had a rise,
Yeah.
and just like everything that hasn't been per se, that's been swept under the rug. So what are like some stories or some comments or just some perspectives that you have when it comes to the dynamic of this high profile relationship?
It's just bad. It was bad. And that's why it went the way it went. Because when you don't put things together right, and let me just say this and put this on the record. I want the world to know this. Nobody ever told me about you. To this day, she have never mentioned H's daughter. To this day, I want it on record. I've never one time heard her talk about you, mention you, and I want the world to know. If somebody on the internet sent me this Queen's video about Tonisa Welch and send her my video, and this is how me and you know each other. This is why I know God is on top of this. Because ain't nowhere in the hell I've never heard about you. Your brother, he brought you up. I got a sister. But to this day, Tonisa have never mentioned your name. To this day. And I want the world to know that. I'm just not meeting this beautiful queen, beautiful in and out, that this girl have talked about. And not one time I ever heard them mention your name. How is you married to this man and he got one daughter? One daughter, not 15 kids, one. And you not one time mention this beautiful queen, your husband's daughter, but you can tear her down though. You can try to tear her down though. But you never told the family. Nobody even knew about you, baby. Nobody. My son, all of us looking like, that's H's daughter. Nobody knew it. Nobody knew it. Nobody.
Mm.
So when you say she gave you that $100, that was the funniest shit you ever blew out your mouth. Because we named her the $100 chick. My dad said, you know what, Queen? She ain't gonna give you nothing but $100 now. That's all you gonna get out of her. My daddy named her the $100 hoe. That's a true story.
Yeah,
So that's
no.
when I knew, and that's when I see, even when it came to her and T's relationship, she didn't like T doing for his own kids. Oh no, that was an instant fight right there. That was an instant fight. I'll never forget the day T's baby mama car broke down. He was gonna get her a nice car. It was always a problem. She stayed security on his money than more than him. That makes
Mm,
sense?
mm,
Whatever he done, she kept track of it. Like, let me give you an example. Like this. Oh, she was writing it down, jotting down that money. Yeah. Her whole MO was about Terry's money and what he's doing with it and how he's spending it and who he give it to. Even when it came down to his kids, it was so bad, he took care of her kids before he took care of his own. Your daddy ain't the only one guilty of that, baby. My daddy guilty of it. Terry's guilty of it. Nah,
mm.
nah. Your daddy ain't the only one. Terry did the same thing. He took care of her kids and overlooked his. He close to him now. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. But he did the same thing. Your daddy ain't by himself, baby. He got to the point where he couldn't see nobody but her three boys. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That's the truth. And I stand on that. I stand on it. I can't make this up. So don't you, I know how you feel as a beautiful queen and you his only daughter. I know how you feel, baby. But you ain't by yourself. My daddy had to apologize to me. He said, you know what? I took care of them goddamn step kids. They weren't shit. None of them turned out to be shit. So all my life, my daddy was arguing with her mama. He said, you did some hell of a raising. All your goddamn kids dope fiends. He used to talk about her so bad. It was them Welch's so bad. It was a comedy show in our house every day with my dad talking about them three dope fiends. Tonisa, her brother Derry, and Ernest, all of them was drug addicts. Derry died, passed away. He was a drug addict, worked at Ford. She got a brother still living, retired from Ford, drug addict. The biggest talk in my family was how she raised her three kids, which she had four, but the last one was by my dad, and he was the only successful one. All of them
Mm,
was drug addicts, baby. So you got to remember, this is where we went that way. Because me working two jobs and you on drugs don't go together. You
mm,
boosting out there tricking, selling your tail, okay? All of that. And I'm working two jobs. That's why a lot of stuff I didn't know because I did work. But not only she went with after your dad and she went with T, she went with a lot of men out of BMF. That's what embarrassed them sons. See, when you sleep with your son's friends and your nephew's friends, it's kind of embarrassing for the boys. That makes sense,
mm,
Queen?
mm-hmm.
They always made a thing that she kept it in the family. So it's not just she went with Pete behind your dad. She went with a bunch of BMF men. And I, what you do with that? She made a name for herself, and she should have put this in the bio. Because don't you know them? What my nephew told me in California, he said that's what they talk about. How they screwed my auntie.
Mm.
So, and one of the things Tony's problem was she spent more time worried about her career than her kids. And you and I both know this. One is gone to heaven, rest in peace, Jason. And look at the other one. Come on, baby. You and
Yeah.
I both know. You focus on the wrong thing. You so busy trying to tear people up on the internet, going after your nephews. I don't know if you know the other nephew. She went out there talking about his wife, how he buy her breasts and butts and all that. That ain't Tony. It's a business. Am I correct?
Right.
You know what he told her? He said, "My name ain't T. I'm not your man." And he was the only one that stuck with her. And she tore him down, talking about that man's wife like that. I don't know how NAACP can pick her up when you 1 minute you say you're lifting up women. You go to these prisons talking to these women, and then you sit up and you tear down your own sister of 50 years, and then you tear down your stepdaughter. This young lady is over 40 years old and she's been your daughter, and you tearing her down. That's not what you do. How in the hell did the NAACP can put her on there and you've been selling dope? Come on. Come on, baby. Come on.
Nah, real shit though.
Where they do that at? She
Yeah.
getting an award for selling dope when that way Terry should get one. Your daddy should get one. Come on. If NAACP giving her one, they might as well give your daddy one.
Right.
Come on now. Come on. Come on. Like I said, there was a lot of wrongdoing in this situation. But let me tell you something, Queen. God is real. God is real. And whatever you do out here in this universe, and you think you're going to get somebody and try to tear somebody down, and then to try to turn people, she loves to go to your enemy. Oh my God. When you told me about your ex-husband, I said, oh yeah, she's his best friend. She took his ass to dinner shopping, girl. And he thinking he finna blow up. He thinking he finna be on something. You know, my son said the funniest thing about this whole thing? He said, you know what's funny, mama? I said, what? He said, them dummies think they gonna get promoted. They think they finna have something, and they don't know she using them. They don't know she using them. Tonisa will use you up and then throw you away. Because to this day, you just told me you got her all them interviews. Do you know to this day your name ain't never been brought up beautiful?
I'm pretty sure.
That's insane. You her husband's only daughter. That's crazy. I'm glad I met you. Finally, finally. Damn. I would have loved to because I'm that auntie. I'm that auntie.
Right.
Everybody love me. I don't have no enemies. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. That's why I can stand up and say on the record, Meech and Mama Meech and T stopped talking to me because of Tony. He know he did. Ain't no allegedly. You talked to me up until you got released from prison. That's when she ran out of Vegas to get back to Detroit. When they released him, it was a big thing. Yeah, that's when that time came. But do you know that man texted me the whole time before he got released? Because he didn't even know I was in Vegas. Now, I remind you, I was in Vegas 4 years at that time, 4 or 5 years, and they never told him I was in Vegas in the condo.
Mm.
That's, yeah. Say it again.
uh.
They never told him I was in the condo, baby. He told me, oh, I told you about the fur coats, right?
Mm-hmm.
$100,000 of fur coats. Over $100,000. T mentioned the fur coats in the text message. And I said to myself, if I hear one more thing about them damn fur coats, I was going to drop a bombshell. And that's when I told T this. He said, yeah, I heard about them fur coats. What did he say that for? You know, anybody know T, he's an instigator. He love to keep up shit. He going to tell it. He going
Mm-hmm.
to tell it. So anyway, when he told it, I finally told him, his mom and all of what happened. Her own brother, Ernest, right there in Detroit, the one with the foundation I was telling you up under his eyes to
Uh-huh.
reject Smokey Robinson, he's still wearing my daddy's shoes. So listen, he stole the coats. He had his girl to go in the family home and took her coats and took them down and pawned them at the pawn shop down on Gratiot, girl. And he told the girl that they got 2,500 for it, 5,000, and he split it. And I know that day the pawn shop had a good day. And she never wanted to tell that story. She told everybody Catrice and her son and boyfriend did the fur coat. But the real story is her own brother had his girlfriend to go into the house, which is a family friend, and took all her fur coats and pawned them at Ziegman's down there on Gratiot.
Mm.
That ain't no allegedly. That's facts. And so when I confronted her about it, I don't care nothing about them coats. Oh, you don't care about them now. But you done told the whole world that your sister and her son and her nigga stole them coats. But when I got in that ass, she don't care about them coats no more. So I want the world to know what happened to her fur coats. $100,000 worth of damn fur coats got pawned at the pawn shop in Detroit down on Gratiot for
Mm.
5,000. Yeah, 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 mhm, yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so as far as like when it comes to just like, now when she got out and, the whole mess of the television show and all of that, because you said that y'all, oh, excuse me, oh, tired.
I
You said
see.
that you said that y'all hadn't talked in the last 4 years, but this is it. Prior to, she did a lot of media and stuff like that, and
Yeah, she did.
So how was your relationship with her when she was, coming out and telling her story when she got out of prison? Because she's been out for a minute.
Well, let me tell you the truth. When she got out of prison, she made a blanket and she put everybody's name on there but mine and my brother's. I had a brother, Emerson Jr., got killed back when he was 15 years old, sweetie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom had two kids by my dad. Okay. He got killed. So we talking 40, my son is 44, 46 years ago. Tonisa went to prison and made a blanket and she crocheted her brother's name on there and without mine. And I knew then. I said to myself, and I'm gonna put it on the record, and she never heard this story before, but I'm gonna let her know. That's when I knew she wasn't shit and she was a user. She wanted to use me to do her dirty work, call up people, threaten people, the same thing she had done to me. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when I seen this blanket that she did in jail, in prison, and when I didn't see my name on that blanket, I knew what time it was. And my daddy told me, why she talking about my daddy loved her more? Let me tell you what my daddy said. He said, don't you trust that heifer. She showed you who you was when your name ain't on that blanket. But do you know, when she came home from prison, ask me who house she had to stay at a couple of times. Mine in Detroit.
Mm.
She came to my house quite often because I had the quiet, clean house, peaceful house. Okay? And when she got out of prison, she was coming to my house using my car, taking my car, and using my house, and I let her stay there all the time, knowing how she felt about me. I just let it go. I just let it go. But even after she got out of jail, she still, even when I moved to Vegas, she was wanted to be my sister. When she lost every damn thing, then she wanted me to be her sister. Okay, but by this time we fell out because she wanted my mom. She kept asking my mom for money. My mom said, "No way in the hell I could give you money you gave me." She was begging my mom for money. And that's why they got into it. Because she got mad because my mom didn't give her no money. Now, this is a true statement. My brother Kevin had to take my mama's stuff and take over all her stuff because Tonisa and her brother was hounding my mom for money just that bad. I'm not telling money allegedly. This is facts.
Mm.
Yeah, he had to take over my mom's stuff. So when she passed away, that's why he was over all her stuff. So if you and your mom so close, why was he over everything? Because if you and your mom close, you gonna be over everything, ain't you, Queen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she wasn't over nothing. No house, no bank accounts, no cars, no nothing. My brother Kevin was over everything. Everything. That's why she couldn't put me out the condo, because her name wasn't on it. My brother Kevin's name was on it. That's the truth. That's the truth. So,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to it, this is why she go through what she's paying for a lot of stuff she did out here. Not only she done to you and me, but what she done to her boys. And it shows. You never gonna have no luck till you come. You gotta be accountable for the things you have done. You will never hear her apologize. You'll never hear her be accountable for nothing she have done. She's the reason why your little brother going through that. You think about it. No guidance. You can't put your kids out there and then expect them to live a regular life, Queen. You can't do that, baby. And we got to continue to pray for your little brother. We got to. We got to, baby. Because,
So, so how was your relationship when she was in prison? Because I remember seeing the headlines and
she
trying
didn't
to.
talk to me. She didn't talk to me. And she had the nerve to bring that up. Every time I would try to talk to her in prison, it was, I need to talk to mama. I need to talk to dad. I need this. My dad said the only time she started showing love is when she went behind them bars. He said, I became her daddy. All of a sudden she want to holler, daddy, daddy, daddy. My daddy got so bad with that shit, he said, daddy your ass. Because she went to daddy this, dad that. You know, when she went to prison, it was, and when she got out, it was just, it's like she thought everybody owed her. And my dad say, you better go, and my mom, her mother put it on the record. She said, Tonisa done more for people in the street than she did for her family. So that's who she should have been running after. All these people you done for. Tonisa, when I tell you Tonisa done for people in the street, she bought cars. She furnished apartments. You hear me? She bought houses. She done this for the people in the street. That's
Mm.
why, if somebody got some in the family, please come forward. You ain't heard your daddy not one time say nobody came forward with nothing Tony done for them. Your dad can speak. He know I ain't lying. I can't make this up. I can't. I can't. And this is facts. So, you know, again, and even now that she's out, she got a production company she named J Bird after Jason. Thank God for that. But focus on that. Her focus is so, it's not into what, if she focused on J Bird production and what she needs to do, it wouldn't be so bad. But she's so bad at trying to come at people instead of focusing on your brother. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. It's bad, Queen. It's bad. It's bad. I don't even know what else to tell you. It's bad. I don't know what else.
So we're gonna do some more in part three and really get into just those little details that only we know. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
some stuff that we know, but we got to keep the people guessing. We can't give it to them all in one lump. But and we've been on here, I think like an hour maybe. How long we been on here?
An hour 57 minutes, Queen.
Okay, so we gonna have part three coming. I'm tired. It's late
Okay.
here in Turkey. I need to eat some food, but I can't wait for us to get into part three.
Okay.
And we're gonna do it on the actual premiere of the BMF series. So
Okay.
I'm super excited about this, but I'm gonna chop this up, edit this up, and we're
Okay.
gonna let the people know what's going on. Okay.
Okay, sweetie. Thank you, beautiful. And I'll see you.
See you later.
Love you, Queen.
Love you too.
Bye,
Peace.
sweetie.